listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.
Hey, Brian. Hey, everybody. This is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, live around the world. It's a brand new year. We are going into the third week of January, and I'm calling this an international show today. We're going to talk about fashion, music, movies, and obviously books. And I got to start off with my co-host, Kat Lopez. Kat Lopez TV from Colombia, but she lives here now. All the way from Florida. Victoria M. Howard. We get to talk about Dancing for Dollars. This is actually a really, really good read, but don't take my word for it because I'm going to let her talk about it.
Hello.
Susan Post, volleyball player, good friend, medical field, and Provincial Vodka, my favorite vodka in the world.
Hello.
And a recent find from San Diego. I'm going to call her Flora the Explorer, but, you know, I call her Gemini, but, you know, your typical Brazilian good young lady. No, I'm only kidding. All right, so it's Flora Sofia, all the way from San Diego.
Oi, todo mundo.
Anyhow, this is a good thing. So this is a good international show, but we got to start off with Victoria because I've been reading this book for a couple weeks now. It's a very, very good read. We did an interview earlier today, and I didn't even think about it. It is like a Jackie Collins read. Jackie Collins, she wrote great, really, really good books about the business, as you would know it. But this is the different business, Dancing for Dollars. Talk about this, why you wrote this book.
I was a dancer when I was young, but I was a dancer on TV, on a drum, you know, back in the 80s.
You were a drummer?
I danced on a drum.
Interesting.
In a cage in Pittsburgh. I was Miss Pittsburgh a Go-Go. And then I got out of that and was into the modeling and then got into the racehorses. And then when I got divorced a while ago, I moved to Florida. And a friend of mine owned the biggest nightclub there, Solid Gold, which was unbelievable. The girls I met, the dancers, one's prettier than the other. They're all super nice.
I have to admit, I've actually been to that club.
Yeah, it's a
good club.
Very nice club. And I decided to started interviewing the girls, and I decided to write a book. But I wanted to write a novel, fiction, like Jackie Collins, who is my idol. I think she's awesome. And I just had so much fun with it, and I'm really blessed and happy to see how it has taken off. It's just zooming, and we're very happy. I hired the Hollywood Trinity, and they are getting me...
Holly Davidson and Doris Bergman. God. Doris Bergman PR.
Yes, and very, very, very knowledgeable people, and they're getting me everywhere. And this is going to be a movie, so you're the first to hear. It's going to either be a movie or a TV series.
Yeah. Did you actually dance?
Did I? I did dance. Yeah. I did dance. Yeah. But I never took it all off.
Yeah.
And if I was
sometimes you don't have to. Though.
No. If I was 15 years younger, I would definitely do this for a living because let me tell you what, there's nothing wrong with it. You know, there's nothing wrong with this. It depends. Everybody's different what they want to do after that. If they want to go into porn or they want to go into saving money for a business or whatever it is, it's a lot of money. And where are you going to make thousands of dollars a week?
Real quick,
for just getting up there and doing what we do at home.
But explain to them the reasons why. I know why a lot of my friends did it around the world, and it was because you could make quick money fast. But they also were single moms.
Exactly.
You know, with a couple kids, they were putting obviously themselves through school and things like that. But you know, they didn't do it because of the attention. A couple people did. Some people did it to get into porn, and I knew that. But you know, that's not why you lasted or survived. But the other thing is, and I'm not quite sure on this yet because I still haven't figured out what it is as far as being an age limit. There's been Star Blaze, many people who did striptease who were very, very good and made a living out of that. But, you know, did you think of if there's an age limit or anything like that?
I found out that it's supposed to be 18 is when they start. Some start earlier, they get away with it, but it's 18. Like I told you, I have a friend that's 47 that's drop dead gorgeous and built like a brick shit house. and she can stand right up there with the other girls. So it all depends how they take care of themselves, and you know, it's average age is in the 20s. Average is the 20s.
I
feel like it depends on how you use it. Like if you want to dance and show and express yourself that way, I think it's a great way to do it. And if you enjoy it, why not?
Why not?
Because society thinks that it's a bad thing, but if you enjoy it and it feels good for you,
There's nothing wrong with it. If you go to Europe, I mean, they go topless, they go naked on the beach. It's normal. It's okay for them. So I think the Americans are a little behind, and they think that this is not nice, but it's not true. There's nothing wrong with dancing.
You know, we've always been behind when it comes to that. I mean, think of it now. Think of pole dancing. A good friend, Oksana Krishina, does the classic pole fitness dancing. It's good for your abs. It's good for everything. It keeps you in shape. I knew a woman who was a concierge who danced. I thought she was a stripper. No, she danced because she loved it. She loved the core, tightening up the muscles and everything like that. Kind of like playing volleyball, right, Susan?
Kind of. It's a great workout.
Yeah.
I do have to say I've tried pole dancing. And when I
actually want to do it. I told my friend, because it's about working out your abs and your core and stuff like that.
It was amazing. I never felt so in shape.
Yeah.
It really, and it boosts your confidence, and you feel sexy, and you feel more like a woman. It's really great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you South American women, you just have it ingrained in you because you've got a character like that, huh, Flora?
Well, in a culture like Brazil, for instance, having a body is something that's completely normal. Expressing life through your body is absolutely, completely normal. It's okay. It's part of life. There is not as much stigma. We exude, we express our sexuality through our sensuality. It doesn't mean that we will behave in a way that's not acceptable or okay in society. We are people. For instance, I was a language teacher in Brazil for several years. Actually, I started teaching Spanish when I was 16 and a half, still in high school, out of a need to co-provide for my family. But hey, we live life. We live out loud. We party like Carnival. The whole country stops to party for 4 days. And yes, we take that sensuality all the way up to the sky.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
The outfits are amazing when you dance samba.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, yes, you have the Rio Carnival parades, which are world renowned and very famous, and attracts a lot of tourism, attracts a lot of attention. But literally, the whole country stops to party. My favorite party was at my mom's hometown. It's a teeny little town where my second and third cousins were, and my great uncles and aunts were. So there was that family vibe, and all of us, multiple generations would come out and party and have all kinds of fun, like outrageous, off the charts fun.
It's exactly the same in Colombia. I mean, we have all these festivals every month. Every town has like a different festival. We all come outside. It's not as in Brazil as they dress up like really sensual and sexy, but we do have our dresses like that are typical to Colombia, and that makes we're just party countries. Honestly, we enjoy life, we enjoy music, we're alive. That's something that the U.S. is missing. So they need more of us here.
We're working on trying to catch up some kind of way. But that's why it goes back to being in Florida, where some of the best dance clubs that I saw where couples went when I was on the road with my friends was in Florida and Ohio. But Florida was there because of the culture. Yeah. That Latino culture, that flavor is there. And you have 4 great characters in the book that kind of bring that out. And you have a scene in there in the book where they get dressed up in that one night. Talk
my
about
imagination runs crazy. Let me see. The stories, I don't know. That thank God my mother's not here. She'd be so upset, the stories I've read. Oh my God, bless your heart, Mom. No, they, I had one of the 4 girls, one, like I said, is American. And the other one came from Japan. She's a little geisha. The other one is a Swedish woman, a model. And the other one is a Jamaican hermaphrodite. And these 4 characters are completely different, but they all bond, and they're all gorgeous in their own ways. And when they're dancing at the club, one night they decide to have like a Halloween night. Everybody dresses in something. One will come in dressed in maybe a police policeman's uniform, little skirt, and one's a nurse or one's a whatever, and they were dancing. One's a dominatrix, which she really becomes one in the story, and they do that. And I think there's so much that if I owned a strip club, first of all, they make this is such a lucrative business, billions of dollars a year. They really do. And I mean, some of them are more tasteful. Some of them don't let them have everything off. Some of them keep, just a G-string.
The best thing has always been, you leave it to the imagination.
And you know what? I agree. That would be mine. If I ever had one, that's what I would do. I think I'm Italian, and I was raised, leave a little mystery there.
Absolutely.
So if there's something that, let the men want, and that's the ones that they would come to see, these women that would leave a little bit there. Now, in the book, 2 of the girls chose to dress like that. One of them was a Catholic, and she still had her morals, and so she kept her bottom covered, and the other one was a hermaphrodite. And she or he had that taped down.
Or shim.
Or shim, yeah. So nobody could know.
That's what I call shim.
Yeah, you're right. It is a shim. And but it's that story is exciting. It made all the guys come, and they wanted to see the different girls go on stage, and just not naked, something that enticed them.
Is the book based on a true story, or are you just...
Some of them are true. Some of it's true, and some of them isn't. Yeah, everyone said, I embellished. A lot of them, I took a lot of interviews, and I changed names.
Okay.
But I embellished them to my crazy imagination.
It sounds like there's a lot of community empowerment there between the girls. And
absolutely. That's the basic of my book. It's women's power, and it's empowerment. And
outstanding.
I loved it because they are, in general, a lot of men put down strippers. And they say, they use them as an object or a piece of meat or whatever. No, these are individual women, very smart, and they bond. And they, through their life, they come through a lot of adversaries, and they help each other. And that's what I liked about the book. That's the basic message.
It's been established here and out in the world, of course, that sexuality, especially feminine sexuality, is challenging. It's challenging for a lot of people, right? I find it so empowering and beautiful to hear something like this, to hear that yes, we're coming together, not to cut each other short,
not to be catty like a lot of women are do,
but to appreciate who we are, in our different color, in our different nationality, in our different shape. It's outstanding.
Well, very especially good. With today with the Me Too movement.
Yes.
Okay, this book come out ironically at the right time. Okay, because that's exactly what the these women were objected to different things, circumstances in the book. And they bonded, they helped each other out. Some of them survived, they mostly all survived. I'm not going to tell you the whole story. You have to read it, but I
have to say it's a good read. It's a very, very easy read, and I was smiling the whole time. Sort of like, I didn't think about it because we did an interview earlier, like the Jackie Collins book. To me, it is written like that, where, okay, is there going to be another one? Is there going to be more?
Everybody already asked me that, and there will be sequels, yes.
And Susan, you commented yesterday on something on Facebook when I put up the post on that, and it was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
You remember what you said?
Well, I thought it was funny because, mothers, at the PTA meeting at my daughter's school, they were all going around the table. And
that's funny.
Kids in grade 2 here. Oh, my daughter's going to be a doctor.
Oh,
my daughter's This one lady piped up, and I love this lady to this day. And she said, well, my daughter's going to be a stripper.
Oh, it's good for her.
And it shut everyone else up because nobody knows what's really going to be.
Nobody knows. They change a million times. Yeah. Yes. That's cute. That's really cute.
Oh, on that note, I have a funny one to tell. So, I grew up in a very intellectual family. Both my parents, they came from very humble origins. One from Espírito Santo state and the other from Minas Gerais state. I grew up in Minas Gerais. But my mom, as a single mom, she established right off the top, before I turned 10, that I personally, I've already had very good posture and always received very good compliments on that. So people would often approach my mom and say, "Oh, so Flora has such beautiful posture. She should be a model." And my mom would kill it right there and say, "She's never going to be a model. She's going to be a smart woman."
Imagine she said my daughter should be a dancer. Your mom would have freaked out.
So imagine that coming from an attorney. Imagine that. So yeah, that was the rule. But I ended up bending the rule a little bit and became smart and a model. Oh well, sorry, Mom.
Well, no, and speaking of that, what did we just do this weekend? We did Fashion for Causes for Vida Caracta. This past Saturday in San Diego. Talk about that experience. You wore a beautiful dress. I don't know. Well, she made it.
Were you a model there?
I was a model there.
Nice.
Yes,
You were going to be one. Next time.
Next time, please be there. It's fabulous. It's fabulous. So yes, one of the things that I do is I am a runway model. That started when I actually it was how I became a model when I did the Miss Brazil USA contest back in 2006, and I placed as runner-up. This show was a beautiful show. It was quaint. It was intimate. It was put together carefully, you know, and it was so warm and amazing. And it was a fundraiser for a very special cause to my heart, which is the homeless. So it was for the Homeless Coalition. So guess what, you guys? Fashion is not just about beauty. It's not just about looks. Modeling is not just about that. It's about you expressing yourself in the world in a way that you can contribute something. You can contribute something amazing to the world, and you can empower, you can inspire, especially the young girls. And hey, I'm no model of perfection here. Hello. Right, I'm not a size 0. I'm not super tall. I'm curvy. I've got a head.
And you're more mature too.
I am, exactly. Lucky me, I started modeling when I was 26 years old. So I was old for the standard. Right?
Right.
But it's, you know, it warms my heart so much. And this is not the first fashion show that I do for fundraising events. I have walked for children's causes, for veterans causes, for a number of causes that I feel are so important and need support. So if I am going to help draw the funds to support those causes, absolutely I'm going to be there.
Exactly.
Hey, Victoria, talk about that, because again, it's one of those things where some women get into the business of wanting to be a model or be something, and then they end up in a club, right?
Yeah. I also was a model. I started when I was young. I was a Barbizon model. And it's funny because I think I told you earlier. No, I didn't tell you. I told somebody else. We were talking about Me Too, and they asked me. I was on a different radio show in Vegas, and they asked me, well, "Can you relate to that?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I think almost every woman probably can."
By all means.
When I was 13, I went for a modeling job in Pittsburgh, where I was from, and it was for Miss Chiquita Banana, and I had this long black hair at the time, you know, and I went into the office or to the room. My mother, they made her leave, of course, and the guy said, "You're the one we're gonna, you know, you got the job, but you have to show me your breast." And that's exactly what I did.
Gosh.
13-year-old, little naive Italian Catholic. I didn't show him my breast, and I didn't get the job.
Of course.
And this was an eye opener for me. Of I was also in beauty pageants. I was Mrs. West Virginia and then Mrs. USA, and I have stories there too. So I am a victim. I mean, I'm sure we all are.
Yeah, me too.
I
was a victim of that. Whenever I came to the U.S., I started being a reporter for this immigration show, and so from that I got other stuff and I met other people. And this gentleman was like, "I want to get you in my entertainment show. Come interview with me." So I did, and I went and I started working with him. And he's like, "Well, to be part of the show and continue being part of the show, you kind of have to show me some love." And I was this 19-year-old that had just come from Colombia, and I was shocked.
Oh yeah,
And I actually stopped my career right there because I didn't want to be a part of that.
So would I do it if I had a daughter? I don't have a daughter. I have a son. I wouldn't encourage them, and if they wanted to do it, I'd make sure I was there with them, because it's a like, look at that what's the little girl that was murdered?
Jean-Benet.
Yeah, I mean, that just is so heartbreaking. But her mom pushed her, you know. And a lot of women do that today with their daughters. They, like you were saying, they want them to be a model or a beauty queen or whatever. And these girls don't want to do it, and they do it for their mother to make them happy or whatever. And I think that's the number one mistake. So I think that as far as a young woman out there starting any kind of career, she's going to get objected. Now, I'm not saying I'm not sticking up for all women. Men, you know, come on.
Men too.
Women abuse men too. So it goes both ways.
And men abuse men. I
And
mean,
men
let's be
abuse,
real.
you know, it's just.
Whoever is in a position of
Yeah.
power will think that they have the
Exactly.
right to abuse
That's
another.
exactly right, and that's what this whole movement's about. Powerful men, you know, and it's just a shame.
I recently had the opportunity to coach a young lady, very, very smart young lady in San Diego, a friend of mine whom I met actually on one of the fashion shows. Her mom came along, and I explained to them a little bit about how I paved the way to be where I am today. And one of the things that I highlighted to her was, I said to her, Caitlin, whenever you have something like that brought to you, say no, unless you really want to do it. But if it offends you, if it rubs you the wrong way, say no. I personally only have had 2 occasions in which I actually never have received an invitation to expose myself. But one situation was I felt a hand on my Brazilian assets.
That's a good way to put it.
After a meeting with a commercial director, and right then and there, I said, I'm sorry, I don't think I'm the right fit for you. We're not going to be able to work together.
Yeah.
The second occasion, I was on set filming a movie, and it was interesting because it wasn't a director, it wasn't a producer or anything. It was a castmate who approached me in a funny way, and he kept coming and coming and coming, and finally I dropped it to him and I said to him, I think right now is a good time for you to back off.
Wow.
And we have to have the courage to say
Yes.
that,
Yes.
to
Speak
stand
up.
up for ourselves.
Of course.
We have to protect ourselves that way, and protect one another, of course.
But we have to be the voice, but when you have a child, you have to be their voice.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because children, they're afraid of saying, you know, no matter if they're 13 or 10 or 6 and somebody comes on to them, they're not going to say no. Okay, and that's the problem. You have to stick up for your child.
It's
and
a
you have to
very
be.
seductive environment. It's
it
a
is.
very seductive industry, and there is the if you do this, I'll take you, this far.
Yeah, right.
No, exactly.
It's been going around. People think this is with the Weinstein thing. They think this
No.
this has been going on for centuries. Forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
In
it's
every
just-
country.
You're right. Everywhere in the world.
Yes.
You're right. It just happens to be that now, I guess, we're standing up and saying no. And we're, and that's what we have to do. I know, we got off the subject there. I'm sorry.
It's all connected
I'm
because
sorry.
this is one of the reasons why you write the characters like that, of what they go through.
Yeah,
they go through
exactly.
things like that.
And they're strong women, and these women they all come way out on top, and I'm really proud of them. They're like my children. Okay, I created these characters, and people say, well, who would you put in to play, Francesca? Who would you? I probably, when it gets to be a movie, I probably won't have anything to say about it. But the men, I already have Tony, the guy that owns the club, and he's an older guy, and it's Ray Liotta, and he has the book right now, looking at it, and the Carlos, the beautiful.
The more I think about it, the more he's good.
Yeah, and Carlos, the bouncer that likes the hermaphrodite, that would be The Rock. And I met him years ago, and he's perfect for this. Now, the girls, I'm not sure who, I don't know. It would be...
You started with 2. That's good, though.
Yeah. So.
Actually, I like DJ being the bouncer. That could be interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are you considering the movie or series to be like more of a comedy or like a mix? Or?
No, it's really not a comedy, and that's funny because my publishing house, it's going to be in the New York Times next month, and when they put it down, they wrote drama comedy, and I'm like, this is not a comedy. Of course, every book has a little you laugh, whatever when the girls get together, but it's a drama, and it's a deep story. You've read it, right? It's a very deep story.
That's very good. You have other books out there too.
Yes, I do.
For all those people.
This is my 15th book.
Ooh.
I've written books for 10 years. I have 15 out. I've written, the first book I wrote was Why Women Love Bad Boys. And that one went viral, and it's been.
Boy, can you guys relate to that,
I'm telling
right?
you, all women, and that's why it was so popular. It's been translated and sold in 15 countries now.
Was that a surprise?
Absolutely, it was my first book. I thought this is easy, but it's not. I got lucky with that book, and then I wrote children's books. I've written self-help. I've written horse books because I also race horses and raise horses, and this is my first novel.
I like the fact, you know, it was interesting that she's into horses. Interesting. Whole another world. How did you have time to write that when you had horses? How many did you have? Because I had 21.
I have bits and pieces of 20 right now.
Wow.
Babies, mommies, yeah. They're in.
And you have thoroughbreds.
No, it's standardbreds.
You do?
Yeah, I have the sulkies, yeah. My dad got me my first one when I was 17, and that was it.
Wait a minute, you were that girl who said, Dad, I want a horse for my birthday.
He bought me, yeah, we all do.
Oh, weren't you lucky?
We all do. And that was the end of it. I just didn't go to college. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to spend my time with the horses, and I did. And you have to love it. It's a tough business, and it's a lot of work.
It's a tough business. It's a lot of work, and it's expensive.
And it's expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
But I love them.
You ever see those horse feed trucks going by, the big trailers with. You like saying, I need to have that.
Yeah.
Because it gets so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you know you're in the horse world, when you see grass, alfalfa hay going by in the big trucks. Because it's a lot of money. Yeah. So you're, out of the books you've written, which is one of your favorite ones?
My favorite, I've gotten awards for horse books from, but my favorite is this one, Dancing for $. And then I've also wrote one called The Evolution of Angie, A Woman's Spiritual Journey to Redemption.
Oh.
And it was I used it as a fiction, but it really was my story.
Aww.
And I didn't want, because crazy things happen to me in my life. I've been blessed or cursed or whatever you say. I've had a crazy life. And I, at one time, spent 3 days with the Aborigines in Australia. And a lot of things happened to me, a lot of spiritual things happened to me when I came back. And so I wrote the story, and I didn't want, my son to this day doesn't want to know, doesn't want to hear it, because he thinks that I'm crazy.
Why? Why is that?
Well, because when I came back, I came back to the States, and I lived in Aventura near Miami. And seriously, they said I had brought a spirit back with me. And my house was, my people would come to my house that hear men's voice, like, nobody was there. They'd feel somebody up against them at night.
It can happen. Things get attached to you.
Yeah,
you can walk by a bar and have stuff be attached.
Did you feel it, or just the people around
no,
you?
I knew it was it. I knew it was in my home because it's not a physical. It's just energy.
Sounds.
And I had a priest over to bless the house, and I had a cleanser over. And
I've had those things.
It was really a crazy thing, and it was scary because this one they told me was not from the light.
That's not good.
No. So, and that was that all came down about because when I was there, I was walking through the outback. I was in the bush with 50 other people, and a lady, American translator, was there, and I was always fascinated with the Aboriginals. They are a dying breed, but they're amazing. I mean, they're so spiritual and so down to earth and live basic. So this lady was talking to me, and she was saying, how she was telling the group how they live, and she loved my earrings. So I took them off and gave them to her. And they're going, what? You can't. They were really good earrings. Why are you giving them to this lady? She lives here. She doesn't, And I said, they're just material.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So to make a long story short, that she told the chief, and he told me to take my glasses off, my sunglasses. And when I did, he said, I'm a very old soul. He wanted me to stay with him. And I stayed in their village for 3 days. I lived with them. I watched how they killed the rabbits and how they ate and how they, and the kids. And it was really crazy. And then when I came back, he said when I left, there was something very, very important I had to do in my life. And I don't know. I said, what is it? He said, you'll know, he told her. So when I came home, I developed the world's first spiritual fragrance. It opens our chakras.
What, really?
Yeah. It opens our chakras. And I named it Ariel and Sariel for a man and woman. This is 17 years ago. and I was speaking at the Whole Life Seminar. And
I remember that. Wait a minute, the one here or the one in Florida?
I had both of them. I was at both of them. And then Estee Lauder heard about it and flew me to New York, and they stole it from me.
Ah.
They come out with a fragrance called Intuition, and just changed one thing. So that kind of was like devastating to me. Yeah. But I thought that's what the Aboriginal said I had to do. I wasn't sure what it was. Obviously, it wasn't. So I've written books. Maybe that's what I have to do for mankind. Who knows?
So you're still not sure what
I'm still not sure now. And it better hurry up because time's running out.
Interesting. Yeah. So Miss San Diego over here, talk about how you started, because you do voiceovers too. And you have a couple things coming out that you're not sure you can talk about yet.
We haven't talked anything about her.
So how did I start? Really, the Miss Brazil USA pageant was my first serious endeavor with modeling, and it was really mind-blowing to me because back then I had a different concept of my self-worth and my beauty and self-esteem. So my sister was there, and when they called me up to announce me as one of the runner-up models, my sister and I looked at each other, so puzzled. I was like, I can't believe they're saying this. Oh my gosh! Following that, I actually have had amazing influences in my life. I've had at my place of employment. I met a model and an actor, Ms. Lil Jackson and Ms. Linda Lutz, and then from my salsa dancing friends, through my salsa dancing friends.
You dance salsa, huh?
I do, a little bit.
That's great. That's great.
I met Mr. Jose Nicolas, and they all guided me and gave me pointers, et cetera, et cetera. So back 11 years ago, I was in the place where Caitlin and I were just recently. I was being coached by people who have been involved in it for a long time, et cetera. And then Jose actually mentioned, Flora, you have such a great look for commercials. You should start looking into that. And then I started hearing about, okay, take acting lessons, etc. And I found little acting lessons in San Diego. I enrolled and took a couple of times theater classes with Holly Ritter from New York, who teaches. She's a brilliant mind and has such a fine way of teaching theater. Then I met Mr. Christopher R., who teaches TV and commercial auditions, and he's very, very much into Shakespeare. Then things started progressing little by little. I've been a model longer than I have been an actress or actor. I started acting in 2010, and I have done a few stage productions. I've done
You're a
TV
late bloomer,
commercials.
which is good.
I am a late bloomer, yes. And I think that the great thing about it is having maturity. You know, maturity helps me see things through and pick and choose what I want and what aligns more with me. Recently, a couple of my achievements have been, last year I did 2 productions for Ford Motors. One was a print commercial, and the other one was a precision driving production. It was my first time doing a driving job, and it was spectacular. I'm dying to do something like that again. I had a wonderful time.
Tell them how that came about.
That came about through a friend, actually, the owner and director of San Diego Productions. He had posted something on a note on Facebook announcing that they were looking for an above-average driver. Female driver to be in this production, and I said to him, Rick, hey, pitch me. I'm here are my skills.
You're above average driver.
Well, in Brazil, the cars that I drove were 1.0 engine, stick shift, and my city is in the mountains. So yeah, you're driving you're bringing the shift down to second gear to climb a hill, and the roads are winding roads and very dangerous and full of potholes and not spectacularly maintained, depending on the area where you are. So you have to be savvy about your driving. My brother was there with me. I learned to drive before I actually was legal to drive, because my brother would, whenever I'm riding a car with my brother, he would teach me, he would give me little pointers about this and that and the other, and how to listen to the engine and how to feel the engine on the pedal, etc. And so it was brilliant. It was wonderful. I had a wonderful time. Just before that, I did a production with La Jolla Playhouse in San Diego. I did Without Walls Festival, a play called Oho, which was an ensemble. I was cast straight out of Pittsburgh. It was fabulous. We had wonderful. So I had a phone interview with them, and they required singing, and I am also a singer. In my youth, I sang in a Gregorian choir.
That's interesting.
Yes.
You know anything about Gregorian chants? Yes.
Yes, I sang in Latin. I'm a mezzo-soprano with a bunch of other kids, and it was a wonderful experience. I did that for 3 years. So yes, the play Oho was, we had a very positive, wonderful review at the Wall Street Journal that year, just a week after La Jolla Playhouse Wow Festival ended. And as of late, I have taken the leap and expanded my career to Los Angeles. I enrolled in classes with a couple of amazing acting instructors who are also producers and casting directors and directors. Chuck Mara and Megan Foley Mara, they are a couple. So I started taking acting lessons with them, and I have grown tremendously. I feel like if I were still a little bit in my shell, I popped out of that shell. I had my first playwriting experience with them. We, myself and the other class members, we co-wrote a play which we performed on December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd at the New Collective Theater in Hollywood. It was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. I knew it was going to be challenging to be driving from San Diego to LA, but at the same time, it felt like, that inner voice that's speaking to you and telling you, you have to do this, you can't wait anymore. And I didn't know, well, I had an idea of why, but I had no idea what was waiting for me at the other side, on the other side. So I highly recommend anyone in LA and in San Diego, anywhere, who wants to expand their career to LA to definitely consider them. They are, again, Chuck Mara and Megan Foley Mara from Foley Mara Casting. Fabulous people, very supporting and very savvy about the business.
Wow.
And my first event this year was our fundraising show for Fashion for Causes. And there's more to come. There's more to come.
They give you a website?
Pardon?
You have a website?
I do have a website. It's very easy. FloraSofia.com. Now, Sofia with an F, because I'm a Latin woman after all. So, FloraSofia.com.
And Victoria, your website?
VictoriaMHoward.com.
And I got to mention our sponsors for everything, but you know what? Let's go to Provincial Fox. Why am I not saying that?
Because you're sitting with
Vodka.
four women here.
Exactly. Susan, this is your territory.
Yes.
Tell us what's going on with Provincial.
Well, we're just starting to really ramp up business in the U.S., and we're starting to get more restaurants and bars with the product in it. We've got Gelson's Markets and Mickey's Deli in Hermosa Beach, Rock and Brews, Ragin' Cajun.
And it keeps growing.
It's continuously growing. We're now starting to talk to some of the distributors across the U.S., some national distributors, and also some state distributors from different states across the country.
And so what are we looking for when it gets, you are obviously expanding across country and getting into where? Talk about the high-end brands. What kind of hotels or restaurants or bars it should be in?
Well, it should be, with the Provincial Vodka especially, it's a great martini vodka. It's very smooth. It's such a premium.
Are we drinking it? Yes, we are.
Yes, absolutely.
It's great.
Yes.
Very
good. So it's a great martini vodka, and I'm really looking for the higher end restaurants and bars. Martini bars for sure, looking at sponsoring, for example, one of the restaurants in Manhattan Beach I went to. Just this morning, I talked to him about, I noticed on his board he does half-price martinis in happy hour, and I said, we need to sponsor a martini night with Provincial Vodka. Introduce your customers to the product and give you a discount and everything. And so definitely wanting to do a lot more local marketing for the vodka to help get it into more high-end bars and restaurants in Southern California. And then growing this market, then the other markets across the country will follow suit.
And volleyball, because you do play volleyball.
Yes, yes, I'm still playing competitive beach volleyball. I'm actually
outstanding.
I had played my last AVP tournament. I think it was like 2007, or a ridiculously long time ago, and I decided I'm going to do it again this year.
Ooh.
So I've been training for the last few months, and then I looked at the AVP schedule, and I'm also looking at potentially sponsoring the AVP with Provincial Vodka.
Nice.
We're in discussions, and I was speaking to them about that when I found out in the conversation that the first AVP of the year is going to be an FIVB, which is the national, what the players play in to qualify for the Olympics is the FIVB.
Oh, wow.
So Federation International Volleyball.
Very good.
And so now I have to lobby the Volleyball Canada to allow me to play for Canada because I'm Canadian.
Yes.
Fortunately, I am practicing with a Canadian partner, so I'm like, hey, you know, Lena, we need to play this tournament.
And you heard her say,
And
just
she
A.
says, I'll do it. So now we have to get Volleyball Canada, where the director told me, you know, several years ago that I was too old. And I'm like, well, I'm training with all the college players now. What's the problem? So I'm playing with the pro players and the college players and practicing and training, doing everything everybody else does.
There's no age on
There's-
volleyball.
Especially not beach.
shouldn't
You know,
be.
if you take care of yourself,
yeah,
your body will
exactly.
continue
It's
to
like
do what you're
dancing. There's no
asking it
age
to
on
do.
dancing, right?
No, not really. Not if you take care of yourself, no.
So I'm hoping to lobby Volleyball Canada to allow us to play that tournament. It's in Huntington Beach.
And how can
And-
people reach out?
Pardon me?
How can they reach out? Website.
Oh, well, so for vodka, we're going to provincialvodka.com or radugadistilleries.com.
And we have to say hi to Paul and Blaine, like Saskatchewan,
Paul
Canada.
Reven, creator of the best vodka, smoothest vodka.
And
smooth like
how many
no other
awards has
vodka.
it won?
Oh, multiple. At least 5 awards in the U.S. Gold, silvers. The SIP Awards received a gold. The International Spirit Competition in New York in 2016, we won a gold.
And you have spiced vodka.
The Spice Vodka won a gold in the
This is
Global
only the
Wine and
third
Spirit
one in
Awards,
the
yes.
U.S. either, too.
Yeah, Global Spirit
We drank 2 of them.
Awards, the Spice Vodka won a gold in 2017.
This is
This
so
is
good.
one of 2 bottles.
So
The bottle
good.
you see sitting there is one of 2 bottles currently in the country.
Wow.
And we're in the process of doing the paperwork to bring the Spice Vodka as well as your
The
favorite
apple.
and my favorite, our apple pie and our blueberry pie. And just phenomenal.
Please hide them from Brian.
We'll make them available so Brian can have as much as he wants.
And Kat, what's been happening with Kat Lopez TV?
Kat Lopez, just the same old, red carpet interviews, fun entertainment stuff. So
And you're always stylish when you come in here. We have things
Thank
coming up for you.
There you go.
You do. Is the Colombian in you, is that what it is?
The Colombian in me likes fashion, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Colombian people are very into fashion, into looking good. Look at Sofia Vergara. She's always,
Yes.
and super outgoing too. I love her.
Oh, I forgot to call you about Modern Family. I just remembered that.
Why?
Colombian women are beautiful.
I just remembered that.
They are very
Oh, wow. And your website.
Well, you can find all my stuff on YouTube at Kat Lopez TV, Kat with C.
And she's building it up. And I think of Agnes Mo, because that interview you did with her is good.
Agnes Mo, really Asian singer. She's really known. I didn't even know when I was interviewing her. And
We just knew she was somebody
we
interesting.
knew she was interesting, and then we see this amazing artist that's
We
really
knew she
known.
had 13 million followers on
Yeah.
Instagram and 17 million on Twitter.
Wow.
She's
Very
coming.
known.
She's coming. I'm just waiting for her schedule.
I hope so. She was so sweet and
Yep.
humble. She was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Flora, favorite movie, TV show that you like?
Favorite movie? It's been my favorite movie since the time I was 11 years old.
What's
and I
that?
think it's always going to be The Color Purple.
Ah,
Aw.
Yes.
excellent film.
Yes. Excellent film. Excellent. And it was amazing for me to. I was 11 years old. I had no concept of what was going to be of my life. 30 years later, or I'm not there yet. 20 years later. And it was so amazing to see the story, to understand the narrative from a perspective of what was going on as far as race and as far as violence, and as far as the whole dynamic. And back in the day, most people don't know this, but life can be pretty rough in Brazil, especially if you show your ethnicity, if something in your body shows your ethnicity. It was always interesting to notice in my paradigm back then, and associate that in the U.S. And it was amazing for me to realize that, oh my gosh, that is big outside of Brazil as well. Wow. My favorite movie of all times. And yes, I bawl on that movie every single time. I have no shame about it, no shame whatsoever about it. My favorite TV show has been Castle. For the longest time, it's been Castle. I just love the goofiness and the charm and the wittiness and the plot. It's wonderful. It's delightful for me. I love intelligence, and the screenwriting in Castle it's so smart, so witty, so sharp. I love it.
And Victoria, when you were growing up, what touched you as a little girl who loved horses? Was there a film or a song that you really liked?
I'm a real animal lover. I'm an advocate to all animals, and I'd rather not see a story with an animal, because you talk about crying. I could see a person go down, but when an animal goes down, my heart breaks. I'm serious. I mean, a dog. So I really don't watch that. My favorite movie was, ironically, I was a little girl, but it was Gypsy Rose Lee.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Natalie Wood.
Yep.
And she started, and that's, I think, was how I really got, wow. But she always kept something on, as you know. She was classy, and it was a true story. I mean, I did. So I like that, and I like West Side Story.
Oh, what a great! Oh my God, the score is still phenomenal.
I watched that a dozen times at least.
Yeah.
And I cry at the end.
Yes.
That's us women.
Let it go. Yeah.
And Susan?
One of my favorite shows, actually. I love watching Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
Oh, yeah.
And I love how they often will touch on current events. And they did a show that really highlighted, what happens in the Congo. They did a show that, they've done shows to highlight what happens in colleges and universities, in the military. They really managed to touch on so many different areas with those cases.
Kat?
Well, lately I've been hooked into the Blacklist. I don't know if you
I
guys
love Blacklist.
watch it.
Yep.
I know it was on a while ago, and then I found it on Netflix, and I was like, let me see what's the buzz
Interesting,
all
isn't it?
about. Yes. I was so hooked into it.
James Spader is great in anything.
And the actress, she's so strong, and she's really a great actress. Like, it's really great to watch what they do and the dynamic that they have, and how they make you believe one thing, and then it's another thing, and then it's all the drama and all the action, and I really, really like that show right now.
And talking about movies that have been out there, I mean, some people are still catching up on Star Wars, but talking about DJ The Rock, Jumanji finished #1 over the MLK weekend, and again, interesting. Didn't get good reviews, but it's doing well around the world. So there you go,
He's
Dwayne
amazing.
Johnson.
Hey,
Dwayne
Dwayne,
Johnson,
you're going to
The
play the
Rock.
perfect part in the movie.
Go Dwayne.
Yay.
And then KCET has they've got a thing called Must See Movies. So January 26th they have Sunset Boulevard, matter of fact, on KCET. So if you get a chance, check that out. And then they have another one called Sorry Wrong Number. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Sorry Wrong Number. Very, very good. That's going to be January 26th, and that's about, that's going to be Friday. Oh, no, sorry, Love is Strange, Friday, January 19th at 9:30 p.m. And then, sorry, I was right. Sorry, wrong number. January 19th, also on Saturday, January the 20th at 4:30. So that's KCET, and I love PBS stuff. So we have to always support the arts when it comes to everything. And I got to thank our sponsors, the Restroom Kit. Bill and Sonia Macy coming in. They're coming in after the Oscars, which will be good to see them. If you remember Third World Design from the Gifting Suite, Alexa is coming in March 6th from Denver, Colorado. And all her stuff that you'll like is hand-woven, hand designs, if you remember correctly, because I know you like that. And when Nikki Lee was here last week or 2 weeks ago, she really, really liked that too. We have Tree Sisters coming in pretty soon. Claire Dubois for the UK. She's coming in around April or May. We have Sea Shepherd. So Zoriano will be back in 2 weeks. So we have John Paul DeJorian coming in sometime about April, May, and we can't wait to do a show on his yacht. So we're going to talk about underwater things, saving planets and getting rid of plastic, which is why I'm drinking out of my Sea Shepherd container, which is good. So that'll be actually really, really good. Oh, and Stair Cosmetics. We like Stair Cosmetics, don't you?
I like them if they're vegan, are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You like them because you saw them at the last gifting suite.
Yeah, they were really amazing. Lately, I'm really into 100% natural.
And I've been looking for them for you too because you're a
Yes.
vegan, and so isn't someone else in a way, aren't you? I was talking about her, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. Something came to mind.
You were thinking?
When am I not thinking, you guys?
That's right.
I wonder how come I don't have more gray hair than I do. There is something to be said about the San Diego arts community. A lot of people don't know how big that community is and how much it's growing. The film industry in San Diego is really growing. I am actually cast in a show in San Diego. It's called Private Investigations. I'm cast as Christine Silva, one of the principal characters. We are in production right now. We have the San Diego Film Consortium ran by Jody Seeley, who puts together a big, beautiful event for the community every year. Actually, last year I was an award presenter at the San Diego Film Awards, and I was every year I am so impressed and so delighted to see that San Diego is producing so much incredible stuff, so many awesome movies and commercials. Actually, San Diego is a big hub for commercials because producing commercials in San Diego is still inexpensive. The city doesn't charge as much for a location. Yes, and the theaters in San Diego, the music in San Diego. We know how there are countless artists who have come from San Diego. So if those who are not aware of it, take a look. San Diego is producing good stuff. There's been this grassroots movement with the film industry there. The San Diego Film Festival is phenomenal.
I haven't been to that one
amazing.
yet. I'll have to go check that one out.
It
I'm
is
gonna
really good.
start spending more time down there, I guess.
Yes, and the more you network in San Diego, the more you'll understand how vibrant our community is. The San Diego Film Awards, they show previews of what is going to be on during the festival. The festival happens in October, but they start with the previews around May or June, and you have red carpet events, and you get to network with fabulous people. You have very interesting people come around, and you talk about what we love, film, right? The storytelling, how film impacts us, right? And what it means to us in our lives. I remember me when I was 11 years old, right?
Oh, you get a chance to say hi to your mom in Brazil, too.
Oi, mãe. Muita saudade de você. Beijo grande.
Well, I don't know what you said, but
A
it
big
sounds
kiss.
nice.
And my brother, too. My brother is there. I still have family there. My sister and I are here in the U.S., but
So what did you say?
hi, Mom. I miss you so much. A big kiss.
And Kat to Colombia?
Hola mis amores, recuerden que los llevo en mi corazón, Colombia unida, amo mi país, los llevo siempre en el corazón, un saludito a toda mi familia, grande, grande.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
Fashion real quick. Talk about why fashion is really, really good for you.
Fashion is just an expression of who we are. So for me, fashion, it helps me, express myself. Helps me feel good about myself and who I am and how I want people to see me. For a while, I was kind of, very aware of what people thought of me. And I always would try to dress to impress others. And then there was a point where I realized, I don't have to impress anybody. I dress for me. And so this is what I like. I feel comfortable this way, and I do it.
Susan?
Fashion, I like being able to really express who I am through what I'm wearing. And, you know, I remember when I was in my teens and early 20s, you know, I felt bad wearing a shirt that showed my midriff because I felt like it was somehow inappropriate. And now I look and it's just silly, you know. You've got a beautiful body. You know, highlight that body. Don't hide it. Enjoy it.
Victoria?
Fashion.
Because you're stylish.
Fashion's everything to me. I mean, everybody has their own unique, individual way of expressing yourself. I mean, you know, and it looks good on you. And so don't try to change and be somebody else. Be yourself and not to worry about what other people say.
Exactly.
I agree with her.
Flora?
It's the wrap that wraps the gift.
Well said.
Yes, yes, and I agree with all of you. You know, it's our way of expressing ourselves, expressing who we are, expressing our essence, and really beautifying the world. Because it weren't for us girls, besides the flowers, right?
Right.
It's us who beautify the world.
You're
So,
absolutely right.
so I love fashion in that way because it helps me express who I am. And when I see women carry themselves, you know, well dressed and put together, oh, it puts such a smile on my face.
I know.
I go, oh, that's a goddess. Oh, that's a queen. Oh, yeah. Oh, she's rocking it. Let me check that out. Oh, I like that.
Even when I see people I don't agree with their fashion, I say they're dressing for themselves.
Absolutely.
Good for them.
That's a good way to say
Right?
that. I like
Right?
that.
Yes.
Yes.
And you know,
because-
God made us all different. Okay, and that's, I think, the reason He did is because nobody. Do you like the same kind of ice cream that I like? No.
No.
Probably not.
Everybody has different taste. And in
I'm a strawberry apple guy. Everybody knows that.
So I think we all should just you know, some guys like redheads, some like blondes, some like long hair, some like short hair. And
I like your hair.
Oh, thank you. Well, I always had long hair, and my
Did you really?
Yeah, always. And my ex-husband, I was not allowed to cut it.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I was the real life Stepford wife, the Barbie doll. I did the you know. So when I got divorced, I went wild. I got the tattoos. You know, you didn't want me to do it. I got 2 tattoos. I got my hair cut short. I was me.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were just waiting to come out of hiding.
And I was like the little cocoon opening up, and the
That's when you were still in
butterfly
Pennsylvania, and then you flew to Florida.
And I flew to Florida, and I was wide. Oh my God!
It's so crazy how we allow other people to like dictate who we
And
really are.
it was my fault. I had to look in the mirror, and to this day, I always had groups of women that I coached. One was called I Am Woman. One was called the Butterfly Movement, and I wrote books about this also. And it was about empowering women and being who you were meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay, and I had to come to the grips where I allowed my husband to do that. Okay, I can't blame him. It was me.
Yeah.
Because I loved him. He was a lot older than me, and I wanted to be the perfect wife for him and stuff like that. So I've been single now 17 years, and I'm really
I
shocked.
can tell you're having fun.
I'm having a ball, especially when I met The Rock. And it was just strictly meeting him. He's just amazing. Oh my gosh, such a gentleman too.
I love what you said, and I the way that I look at it is not really fault but responsibility, and only because we're all affected by the same patterns and stigmas by society, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of us don't understand this, but we have a choice. We have the choice. We have the choice to be who we are 100% of the time, and we mustn't be scared of it. We mustn't be afraid of it. As a matter of fact, it will be an incredible service, not only to ourselves, you know, to have that self-love for ourselves and to show it, to exude it, but also to other people around us, because that's so inspiring and so empowering, right? And we let other people be who they are, who they want to be, you know.
You can't change somebody.
No.
Okay, and so don't even try doing it.
All you
That's
can
it.
do is choose how you think about
That's
things.
right. You
and
can't
that's
change
it.
somebody.
You
So if you're going to go into I'm going to change him, you know.
Oh,
or-
that doesn't work. That
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
work.
not going to work. I was
it's a
married
bad
twice,
recipe.
I know.
Yeah.
Last
Listen
time
to
around,
me.
give your website real quick.
florasofia.com. All right. florasofia.com. Sorry. florasofia.com. florasofia.com.
And Victoria, on your book, one more last time, where people can go and get it.
Online right now, Amazon or Author House, but everyone's going to Amazon because you get it in 2 days.
All right.
Susan, Provincial, what everything else is going on?
Provincialvodka.com.
Kat?
Cat Lopez TV, CATLOPEZ TV.
And I'm Brian Sebastian. This is Movie Reviews and More. And don't be afraid to go to www.youtube.com/movie reviews and more and check out our other past shows. And if you see someone out of smile, please give them one of yours because they need it. We'll see you next week.
You're listening to Movie Reviews and More with Brian Sebastian, only on LA Talk Radio.